This program is brought to you in partnership with the Central Bank of Nigeria. Now we're talking about the impact of politics on the economy. Over the course of the program, whenever we have guests, give them here and say, oh, we're entering into an election year, 2026 is a pre-election year, and all that and all that. And even just at a conference that just happened on the 9th and the 10th, that's Monday and Tuesday, we had the Cardoso, the CBN governor, talking about liquidity, talking about the fact that, hey, we're entering into an election year and all the gains that has been done so far in the last few years, this fact that, we're about to enter into the election year might have an impact and actually bring, draw back, because that's what he's called. If you listen to that, his speech at the National Economic Council conference that just took place Monday, Tuesday, he called it dangers ahead, liquidity. And he talked about the fact that we're entering into an election year could pose a problem and somehow bring about drawbacks to the gains that have been seen in the last few years from all these reforms in the sector. So that comes to the impact of politics on the economy. You're wondering, how is this going to happen? Is there good things and bad things? Let me give you a rundown on that. Now, key economic channels and politics affect one, policy stability and investor confidence. Now, even if you recall of last week when we had a guest on the program, they mentioned the fact that due to the elections, a lot of people might be a bit, lax and a bit reluctant to want to invest into the economy due to the fact that we're going into elections, maybe not for this year, but maybe by next year. You might see some drawbacks, some reluctance from people saying, let's just see what's going to happen, then we know what we're going to do going forward. So that's one of the impact of politics on the economy. Election cycles often delay reforms. Now, policy reversals create uncertainty. Investors adapt a wait and see approach during political tension. So due to that, we're likely to see maybe a bit of less for FDI coming to the country. Why? Because they need to do that wait and see. Let's see what's happening. Now, what's the impact of that? Slower FDI, capital flight, stock market volatility. Now, the stock market has been doing so well last year and even this year, but due to this situation, and most of our investors, mostly foreign investors, are actually on the portfolio investment, that's the stock market. And these things could see that the stock market might go through a phase. Hopefully, that's not the case, we would see. Now, secondly, fiscal discipline and public spending. Pre-election spending typically rises. A lot of people are going to try to be liquid because they have to do what they have to do to get themselves to win the elections the best that they can, legally, of course. Now, increased borrowing to fund political promises. Yes, so we have to do this, we have to do that. So are we going to see a likelihood of borrowings happening, debts taking place, debts skyrocketing? One of our stories there earlier, on our top story, talking about states' foreign debt increasing. Are we about to see a further increment in that due to some of them, probably wanting to borrow so as to do certain projects, so as to help their campaign for a re-election, for those who have to do a re-election. There's that too. Now, budget distortions and rising deficits. What's the impact? Higher debts, inflationary pressure, weakened fiscal space. Thirdly, exchange rate and capital flows. Political uncertainty actually affects FX inflows. Again, one of the ways that we probably get in money, diaspora remittances. If you actually listen, if you listen to that speech by the Cardoso, you will see he said that one of the things that helped us with our FX reserve was the diaspora remittances that were coming into the country, and that we need more of that to happen. What would happen in a pre-election year if if people have to say, okay, let's just see what's happening before we send out money? That's another thing that could happen. That might, in a way, affect our foreign reserve, which, if you've seen our top stories, has risen to a height for the first time since 2018. So there's that as well. What happens again? Foreign portfolio investors exit during instability. What's the impact? Naira volatility, higher import costs. Now, security. This has an effect. We already know that. We're seeing it in our food, how the security situation in the north is affecting food prices and all that. It's always going to have a play. So security and economic output. Political instability can worsen insecurity. And in turn, of course, insecurity disrupts agriculture, trade routes and oil production, which will bring about a lower GDP growth and food inflation. Luckily, thankfully, the country is trying to veer away from the oil revenue, and hopefully, just hopefully, in a way, agriculture plays a role. So you see, these things go in tandem, and if security is a problem, that could be a problem generally both for agriculture and oil production. Now, federal state political dynamics, that equally has a role it plays. Political alignment affects project approvals and fund releases. Subnational governance quality varies widely. We see that happening across all the states in the different parts. Oh, we don't have enough. Oh, some people are still owing. Some people haven't started paying the 30% minimum wage. There's still that in some parts of the country. And we've got 70,000 naira minimum wage. So there's this disparity in what's happening in the different subnationals as well. Uneven development across regions. That's one of the impact of politics on economy. Our time is fast spent, but tomorrow we should have a guest who will come on to give us more insights on this thing, go a narrow breakdown of the situation, the impact of politics, and how best you can find yourself on the winning side of that equation. That's the much I have for you on the program this morning. I am Chiamaka, Nwafor, same time, same place tomorrow. Bye for now. This program is brought to you in partnership with the Central Bank of Nigeria.